Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. It's Championship Sunday here at Major 2. 4 teams remain, but 8 teams of course already eliminated, and lots of reaction to the teams that have been kicked out of the tournament so far. And also, Karma talking on the Seattle Surge. Surprise elimination all the way back at top 12 this tournament. Pred is clearly not happy about it. Did the whole OpTic move completely break down this team? And what does this mean for the upcoming days of this roster after Sunday concludes? Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks to PrizePicks as well for supporting the content this weekend. If you guys want to get involved in daily fantasy here on Championship Sunday, this is the place for you. The way the series went yesterday though, tough to call, because either these guys will just fry or they'll get completely blown out the water here. Okay, maybe we'll take Simp over, but I feel like whenever I take over, it goes pretty badly wrong. Again, this is map 1 to 3 against the Minnesota guys they play today, of course. And even you can look at map 2 specifically and say, I mean, they're pretty much all 7. Will Octane get more than 6? Okay, I'm going to say he's going to get less than 6.5 in that game too. And if you guys want to sign up for this, use the code BPLive. I'll leave it linked down below. And if you're at the venue actually today, and if you sign up using this code and come and find either myself or CDL Pallet at the venue, we'll enter you into a prize draw to win a Pred signed scuff. And very coincidental timing, because we're talking about Pred today. And let's crack right on with things. So Doug sent to Martin, they actually placed top 16 yesterday, the Boston Breach Academy, and that's quite a big deal just because they have the talent in, you know, Beans and Kremp, of course, and Shawnee and Doug there as well, to place better than they did yesterday, certainly at their home kind of Challengers event, right? So I doubt that those guys are particularly happy with the way things are going lately. There's a question as to what happens with Doug and all this type of stuff. But also, does Beans get called up to the starting team? I think that a lot of people are suggesting that Beans and Kremp both might well be on starting rosters come this time next season. These are the 4 teams remaining in the Challengers Open. You've got the Rokkr Academy, the Guerrillas Academy. Rokkr Academy always been good. Elevate, of course, from Europe as well. Vortex Journey, Lucky and Denzah. And then the Decimate team with fellow 2Real Ghosty and iLLeY. Ghosty also another player that people are really looking at right now. So definitely an exciting quartet of teams to remain on the Championship Sunday for Challengers. But Doug is already out of there. And of course, his team, the Boston main roster, also fell out earlier than they would have liked to. Top 6 for Boston Breach. Not the end of the world, but the fashion in which they lost will be frustrating for the organisation, given how close they could have come to making Sunday at their own event. And, you know, they really should have beaten OpTic, but somehow it was a 3-0 in a really remarkable fashion yesterday. Of course, Toronto got completely bodied yesterday as well. I don't think there's anything necessarily to change for this team. It just feels to me like when things were going badly wrong, they just kept going badly wrong for these guys, and that they're going to need a pretty heavy regain after that one. Los Angeles Thieves know how to do it at this point in tournaments, there's no doubt, certainly on LAN. This also from ROASTS though, talking Los Angeles Guerrillas, out of the tourney, need to figure something out. So what exactly is that? Who knows? And actually Voti says this obviously needs to be dropped, and RC's actually replies to this. So, you know, pretty interesting, need to figure something out. I wonder what LAG will do, if anything at all. I do feel like they've made a step with this change, but I'm not sure it's, you know, quite what they need to take it to the next level. There's some other changes they want to consider if they actually want to get back to the point of winning events. And Methods drops the kind of, you know, broken heart emoji after losing that series last night to OpTic in front of the home crowd. They will feel gutted the way they threw away that series. The absolute anti-ice team, it seems, the Boston Breach, certainly when they play OpTic as well. And there's been some questions, because the issue is for Methods is that if you're going to change out anyone on that team, Nero has been out of control, and Nero is such good firepower. The team can be great. They've got the pieces there. Nero's great. Awakening is fantastic. Vivid has kind of been here or there, but I think he's valuable. And even though Methods is valuable to this team, like, that's kind of the obvious change you make. Now, whether if you change out Methods it actually solves some of the issues, I don't know. But, you know, Boston might feel like it's worth a try, because let's be honest here, this team, before as it currently is, unless they just solve their lack of ice issue overnight, they're never going to get to a point where they're making a Championship Sunday consistently. And even if they do miraculously pull out a Championship Sunday with this team of 4, you know, it's highly unlikely they're actually going to achieve anything, because they just can't get over the line when it matters. So maybe they've got to try something, and that's been the argument on the flank actually last night. They discussed, okay, do they bring in Beans? Maybe you lose a bit of leadership there. Maybe it does switch up the environment a little bit on the team if it's minus Methods plus Beans. I don't know. But the issue is for Methods is it's like Awakening's performing so well that if they are going to bring in Beans, who's like their star player on their academy roster, then it's kind of got to be for Zinni. So we'll see how that goes over the coming days. But, you know, of course, they could bring in Doug for Vivid. Maybe that's also another option they could consider as well. Quick note on the OpTic guys also. I thought it was kind of funny, some of the stuff that was happening last night. This early for Boze. Man, Boze, like, what a great, fun personality he is. It's awesome to see him on the watch pad. I feel like he's just absolutely thriving on there. And Boze Records just ordered food using my fake name, Seth Abner. Got it for free. 5,000 likes on this one, I think for good reason. Obviously, after the series last night, Shotzzy was doing the post-game interview live on the OpTic Watch party. They've done such a great job with this. I mean, look how good this setup is. They've got the stream, they've got the OpTic Texas practice room, live inroads. Manny Craig and Roger, the guys that set this up, just did a phenomenal job, and hopefully it can maintain for quite some using their headset hair there, actually, that's pretty funny, but hopefully this will maintain for quite some time to come. But, you know, if we go back to YouTube, who knows, they'll still be able to do it, I'm guessing, but it probably won't be the same as it is now. But yeah, got to enjoy this Championship Sunday, I suppose, while it lasts. And Dashy was apparently enjoying his own gameplay here. This is after his crazy 3-piece he got to close out that map 1 against the Boston Breach, and as Hitch says, formally keeps rewatching the Hydro clip and smiling at his phone. So pretty funny stuff. But that is kind of the interesting thing with this OpTic team right now. It does feel like they need some bailout moments from their star players if they are to win series. I mean, honestly, that entire map was just star players going off. It was Shotzzy going 40 and 23, trying to find Nemo, and then it was Dashy at the end actually closing out when it mattered. But on the other side of the equation, you've got the Seattle Surge. They were teams, obviously OpTic, Major 1, it wasn't so good, but Surge's Major 1 was very good. They made the grand finals, but obviously this time, again, they're back to top 12. It's not exactly a massive surprise, and in fairness, their organization is now officially, according to IU Turtle, the worst S&D team in history. They're now 50 in 99, and they are 1 loss away and will very soon rack up their 100th ever S&D defeat as a franchise. They were terrible at S&D back in the day as well, and this season obviously has not helped that at all. They also tied the S&D loss streak today at 10. So yeah, it's been a disaster class for this Seattle Surge. The way they lost that series earlier in the weekend to Boston was pretty tragic as well in losers bracket, and Pred obviously not happy with the circumstances. Now, Karma actually talks about this and says that he reckons the whole OpTic saga where Pred was going to join did have an effect. We did wonder, right, when Pred was going to join OpTic, it was so close, clearly he wanted to, and then he had to go back to Seattle Surge. If they weren't to perform, would he just get very frustrated very quickly with the situation? Obviously, we've heard the LeBron on the Cavs comments, right, from Pred the last few days. So, you know, there's a good argument out there from what Karma is saying that indeed OpTic kind of broke down Seattle Surge. Now, what that means Surge do, what that means for Pred is obviously another question, though.
Like, they like, you know, made this guy think and made the team think, at least as far as I'm aware. They're like, this could happen, and then it gets shut down, and then you have to return to normal and act like nothing happened. I can only imagine, like, if I got offered to play on OpTic, it doesn't go through, like, I'm tight. I'm actually tight. I actually think they, like, screwed themselves. How do they even allow that to even be discussed and then just completely shut it down and not expect something bad to happen out of that? Like, I might be the dumbest person ever, but, like, shit, I can put the pieces together and make it make sense, and that don't make sense.
This is what Pred said after their defeat. GG's Boston lost 3-1. That streak at the end just sums up how split's been going. So, look, of course, if that streak goes different for Mack, he doesn't kill his own teammates and he kills one of the Boston guys instead, maybe they win that map 4. Maybe it goes game 5. We know Boston aren't very good at game 5, but we know that Seattle Surge are the worst organization in S&D in Call of Duty League history. So, it would be tough to call how that map 5 would have gone. But in the end, Boston did win the series 3-1. Surge out top 12. Obviously, you know, far too bad of a placing given the amount of talent on that team, and Pred obviously knows that. So the question is, what does Surge do? I know that people are going to say, okay, switch out accuracy, switch out Mack, or whatever the case might be. Is there a chance that it goes elsewhere? Just because, right, OpTic have had a good run here at Major 2. They've made top 4. That was what I said going into the weekend they needed to do. If they could make Championship Sunday, that's a good step forward for OpTic. Huke has been, you know, up and down, right? He's had his great maps. He's had his moments where he looks like he can't shoot straight. He's had his moments where he, you know, can't quite slay like maybe he needs to slay, because at the end of the day, if Shotzzy is your kind of aBeZy type player, you need Huke to be your Simp, right? You need him to be a player that at least historically is slaying hard. Huke isn't necessarily that guy. Pred maybe could be that guy. Obviously, the Zeo guys, they do tend to get the best out of each other. There's been good reason why they've been very successful over many years, but there is also an argument that says, you know what, if you could get Pred for Huke pretty much whenever, it should be an upgrade. And obviously, many would suggest, and I think for good reason, and it's probably going to happen anyway at the end of the season, and it might well do, depending on OpTic's results. But if OpTic's results aren't aren't so good, especially if they come into today and kind of get bodied by Thieves, for example, will I think, you know what, if this change is available now, then let's do it. Now, at the same time, there's a lot of complications there because Hex doesn't want to probably deal with Seattle so much. We know that he feels like he got messed around on the Pred thing the first time when they apparently kept bumping up their offer and all this. At least that's the story we heard from the public perspective. So then the question is, would Surge go back to OpTic and say, look, apologies for what happened last time round. We want to do the deal now for whatever money you guys want to offer us or still want to offer us potentially. So maybe there's a deal to be done there. Does that really favor Surge though? I don't know, because the team's in a shambles as is. If you get rid of your star player, you know, it's obviously not the good idea either. So I don't know what happens here, but clearly Pred's not happy with the situation over there. And OpTic were arguably the team to break them down initially when those discussions were being had. Now, I was bringing up there some of the viewership numbers actually yesterday, and they're pretty remarkable, right? We broke records yesterday for CDL Majors, 218,000 peak viewers across all the broadcasts yesterday for OpTic versus Rokkr. Crazy stuff, and as Brett Diamond says from Minnesota Rokkr, to whom it may concern, right? If you're considering bringing us back to YouTube, have a look at these numbers, maybe reconsider it a little bit. And these were the actual full number. And today, right, we've got OpTic versus Thieves. If OpTic were to win that and they were to play like FaZe or something, I mean, man, it's going to be absolutely out of control. So certainly looking forward to it. This is how the bracket goes. These are all the teams eliminated early on. Yesterday, I mean, there were 6 3-0s in a row, including the Thieves subliners game, which was at the end of the day on Friday. Hopefully that's not the case today. I think we're going to be into banger matches today, to be honest. But the banger matches are as follows. These are the 4 teams. These are your 2 winners teams. These are your 2 losers teams. And this is the schedule. So Rokkr versus FaZe. If FaZe plays how they did yesterday, I don't think that anyone could really stop them. At the same time, I don't think they'll be able to quite perform like that again. I think this should be a close series. I mean, look, I'm just hoping for some game 5s today. I think we've got to deserve them after what happened yesterday. But it really is tough to look past FaZe here, right? I feel like, I mean, Simp said yesterday in an interview that I did with him that he feels like this is the best they felt as a team in a very long time. And he feels that this is the most confident they've been in closing out to grand finals were they to get to one. So I think I'm just going to have to, I mean, my pick for yesterday was Toronto, which obviously went down in complete flames. So I guess I've got to take the team now that beat them to actually go through and deliver the goods here this tournament. So I think I'm going to take FaZe to win the whole thing. I know that a lot of people, though, are taking Thieves to make the losers bracket run, which I also understand, because I think I might favor Thieves versus OpTic the second time round. Like, Thieves look so comfortable now. They're playing so well together as a team again. Octane is just having an unbelievable tournament. Kenny's been a bit up and down, but like we know he usually turns up against OpTic, as does Envoy. And I mean, I talked to them yesterday and Kenny was like, yeah, we pretty much want revenge on OpTic for what they did to us earlier in the weekend. And OpTic, their respawn has been a bit inconsistent. Now, I would favor OpTic in the search and destroys here, but to be honest, I'm thinking Thieves. And then we've got Rokkr versus Thieves in the elimination final, at least in the way that I've got the bracket playing out. I actually want to take Rokkr to win that one. I'm looking for a Rokkr FaZe Grand Finals Map 7 decider. And I don't really want to say that FaZe ice up in that because I'd feel bad for Bance the Silver Surfer if he does it again against another second place here. But, you know, honestly, like Attach, he always gets his slice of the pie, right? Even though I don't think he did last year, but whatever. He still gets his slice of the pie. Maybe this is the time. We'll see. Rokkr were very impressive yesterday and have been so far this weekend. But, yeah, still, I think I'm going to take FaZe to win the whole thing. I'm going to take Rokkr second, Thieves third, and OpTic fourth. But very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.